continues to affect millions of people in the South Sudan. Now, the number of rhinos killed for their horns in South Africa has decreased in the first 6 months of the year as authorities intensify efforts to tackle poaching for the endangered animals. South Africa is home to most of the world's rhino population. The country has for years been battling rhino poaching, which is mostly fueled by insatiable demand for their horn. In the last 8 years alone, at least a quarter of the world rhino population has been killed in the country. But intervention by authorities seem to be turning the tide. And let's have more details of that in this report.
In the last 8 years alone, at least a quarter of the world's rhino population has been killed in this country. But interventions by authorities seems to be turning the tide. According to the statistics released by the Environmental Affairs Department, in the first 6 months of 2023, 231 rhinos were killed here in South Africa. These figures represent an 11% decrease or a decline of 28 animals killed for their horn compared with the same period last year. Between January 1 and June 30, 2023, poaching trends also continued to show a move away from the Kruger National Park to provincial and private reserves.
Unfortunately, the first 6 months of this year has continued to show the trend that rhino poaching is moving away from the Kruger National Park to provincial and private reserves. 42 rhino were poached in the Kruger National Park, 143 in KwaZulu-Natal. 46 of the rhino killed were in privately owned reserves and 143 in provincially owned reserves.
Minister Creasy reported that because the demand for rhino horn remains a constant threat to rhino populations, collaboration between the law enforcement agencies, custom officials and private security remains key. She says many arrests have been made.
I am pleased to say today that the majority of sentences in these cases were custodial sentences. In Skukuza, one suspect found guilty of killing 3 rhino and possession of unlawful arms and ammunition was sentenced to an effective 32 years imprisonment. In another matter, 3 accused found driving around the Kruger Park with 5 rhino horns hidden in the vehicle, a hunting rifle, ammunition and knives, were convicted for the killing of 3 rhino and possession of unlawful firearms.
But the minister remains particularly concerned about the displacement from the Kruger National Park to other areas.
We are particularly concerned about what's going on at the moment at Mfolozi. Although the figures are not representative of the crisis that Kruger faced, nevertheless, I think we have to be concerned that almost every single day this year a rhino has been killed in Mfolozi. And that is why we are switching our focus to that area. We're also obviously very concerned about displacement to private reserves.
In recent years, the government has tightened security at the Kruger National Park and stepped up efforts to tackle the illegal trade in wildlife parts. Creasy says they will do the same in other areas. Yahya Jammeh for CGTN in Pretoria, South Africa.